if he wants to do things differently, he needs some different dudes in that room if he wants to do what it appears he would want to do.
Scheme, schmeme doesn't mean if you don't got the players to do it.
It's
Like
fair.
none of that stuff is going to matter. You need dudes.
Now, from the Connors and Ferris podcast studio, this is the Buffalo Plus podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus podcast. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates, I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We are here in the Connors and Ferris podcast studio. Today, we're going to take a look at the Bills' new hires, as well as the coordinators, our take on what Buffalo did, our perspective, what this means now for Buffalo. Going to talk a little Keon Coleman as well, kind of some fallout after the press conferences, our take on the matter, as well as we have our new segment, Hey Buffalo Plus. We're going to get into some life advice, some great questions. So we want to thank you all. Reminder, if you want to send us in a question, the email is heybuffaloplus@gmail.com. But first and foremost,
Birthday wishes.
oh yeah, I thought we were going to get into that.
Well,
after.
you thank who you want to thank.
Well, everyone was super kind about my birthday and writing in. I just want to say thank you so much. We had a lovely weekend, so much fun, but it's really very sweet. And I very much appreciate everyone being so kind. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
As well as?
So today, if you're watching this on Monday, is officially my mom, Terry's birthday.
Terry.
So she got her Buffalo Plus sweatshirt. You can see her with the sweatshirt. She is a loyal Buffalo Plus watcher, and she is a fan and gives me good feedback on the show, which is great. And she was very excited. She has the coffee mug. She has other things.
Terry
but
is
now
the best.
She's got the sweatshirt.
And she does not like it when people say that Jenna is high.
Not high. And Terry knows.
She knows.
She knows that
does
I
not like
high.
to hear that.
Yeah, no, I'm not high.
She's
so
protective.
For Terry's sake, don't say that I'm high.
Happy birthday, Terry.
I would say happy birthday. 90, I said this, 90 has never looked so good. Seriously.
You just outed my mom with her age.
Wow.
I was going to say,
What do you
if
mean?
I'm 45, how old is my mom? So, no, she's doing phenomenally well. We got to go down and see her. Had a little
Should I not say that she was 90?
No,
okay, I was
it's
going to
fine.
say.
We didn't have a party. Like we gave her some
get-together.
gifts. We gave her some gifts. They were late Christmas gifts, early Valentine's Day gifts. That's what we did. So anyhow, happy birthday, Mom.
Terry deserves to be celebrated,
That's
and
it.
we're happy you had the time to go do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Bills. Brandon Beane and Joe Brady, I would say pretty busy over the weekend as the Bills are now set with their coordinator. So Jim Leonard hired as the Bills DC, Pete Carmichael as the Bills offensive coordinator, and then Jeff Rodgers as the Bills special teams coordinator. Some big moves made by Buffalo. I want to start with the most recent one, Mike. Jim Leonard, obviously former safety for the Bills, coming back. He's been a defensive coordinator in college. He has never before been a defensive coordinator in the NFL. What do you make of this move?
I think it's a big swing. I think you have a head coach who's never been a head coach, and the offensive coordinator is not a play caller. So with Carmichael, I think that's a good mix because Joe's going to call the plays. But you're going with a defensive coordinator who's never called plays before, technically. He did in college, but we're talking about for the NFL. And he has a great reputation. A lot of teams, I think, were interested in him.
Mm-hmm.
All that is great. It is still a big swing because Jim Leonard, his background, what he did at Wisconsin, the guys he played for in the NFL, including Rex Ryan, play a style that in a general sense, Dan, is different than what Sean McDermott does. I think sometimes a little too much is made of that, but Jim Leonard's going to come in to a roster that needs an overhaul defensively based on age and contracts. But even some of the guys who are there, the questions will be, if he wants to do things differently, he needs some different dudes in that room if he wants to do what it appears he would want to do.
Yeah, and we had videos up over the weekend. You had a video up as well as I posted one about the coordinators and Jim Leonard being hired. So if you haven't seen those, go check those out. I did my best to try and explain in layman's terms the difference between a 4-3 defense that Sean McDermott ran compared to the hybrid 3-4 that Jim Leonard has run in previous stops. I'll say this. Scheme, schmeme doesn't mean shit if you don't got the players to do it. Like
fair.
none of that stuff is going to matter. You need dudes.
You know who famously said this years ago? It's Marv Levy. He says you block, you tackle, you catch, you run. I mean, the schemes are important, but you got to have the dudes.
Well, that's
Gotta
what,
execute.
when you think about Sean McDermott running a 4-3, how often, at least up until the first 6-7 years, was there really 3 linebackers on the field? Very little. Like it was Taron Johnson, who was their slot corner. They played a lot of nickels. So if you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a totally new looking defense, defenses respond to the personnel the offense is put on. Half of why you see so many nickel and dime packages as offenses put more wide receivers on the field. You can't just sit in your base defense when they go 5 wide receivers. So you're kind of countering what the offense does. So I think that they will run this 25% of the time. They're base 3-4, where you have a nose tackle, 2 ends, and your 4 linebackers. But that can change as the game goes on. All I'm saying is that there will be plenty of time to get to talk to Jim Leonard as well as Pete Carmichael. I was trying to think if I was just on the radio. I don't remember when Babbage got hired and Brady got fully hired as the OC. We didn't talk to them until mini camps or OTAs.
And Jenna, I think part of the reason why teams do this is the combine's coming up and then free agency in the draft. I don't think they really want a lot out there, especially if it's new coordinators, in terms of trying to give any information to the league of what they might want to do, right? Because to Dan's point, the one thing that does change maybe more is, well, even in that base set changes a little more, because you're going to usually have in a 3-4, even if it's on the first downs or first and second down, is somebody lining up over the center, which is sometimes might not be Ed Oliver type. You never know.
Yeah.
And then linebackers, if you be kind of wild to go from 2 playing on base downs to 4 playing, but it sometimes is different players.
Yeah, I do think the overarching theme, though, is a different scheme means you're going to need different skill sets and different types of guys. I agree with you. It's all about execution now. Like these players need to be able to, when the ball is out there, make plays. Like that's what this is all about. But different guys have different players they want. And you talk about Ed Oliver being like the nose tackle, that big beefy guy in the middle. Well, maybe Ed Oliver doesn't have enough beef that Jim Leonard would want. So I think for this team, it's looking at the players coming in, the free agents, what will be someone that I think will fit into a Jim Leonard type of defense. But that's going to change because we've just seen the same players and the same body types in Buffalo under Sean McDermott. And obviously that will now be different.
So New England for a long time ran a 3-4, Vince Wilfork, big guy in the middle. You think Cam Hayward running a 3-4 in Pittsburgh.
Right.
There are pros and cons to everything. I get back to that too, is because I know there are a lot of people saying, well, what players fit the scheme now, right? Like what players Greg Rousseau should be fine. Ed Oliver should be fine, as well as I can already see Deion Walker. Like
Deion Walker for sure.
Okay, so but also don't think of that nose tackle as just the man eater. Like he doesn't just eat up space. Like Deion has the ability to penetrate as well, just like a Cam Hayward, things like that. So I look at this too, and the comparison too I was thinking of is like Will Anderson ran a 3-4 when he was at Alabama. And there was the thought of, well, can Will Anderson put his hand in the ground and be successful as an end in the NFL?
I guess he's answered
I guess he's pretty good. So like that, Max Crosby has been a part of a 3-4 when he was with the Raiders early on in his career. And he has changed as the defensive schemes have changed to a 4-3. He's still really good. Mm-hmm. So like good players are good in a lot of schemes. So this thought that, well, they have to change things. Like I don't care as much about the scheme. I think this defense, as we said before the defensive coordinator was even hired, we're going, it needs to be changes to this defense.
But I think philosophically, if you're playing things a little bit differently, you also might have more players that you think would be advantageous in your scheme.
Absolutely.
I think it's fair to
those
say
are the
that
new guys
both.
You're bringing in.
Correct. Yes. But so yes, it will look different, but you're right. I mean, it's not like it's going to be every time. The defense is constantly trying to adapt to what the offense is doing to slow them down. And that means you're going to change based on what the offense is doing. But yes, I hear you. It's going to be weird because I feel like for so long you can kind of tell like, oh, this like a Terrell Bernard is like a smaller guy, but for Sean McDermott and his defense, he was able to be that guy in the middle of the field that was able to drop into coverage or to rush the quarterback or things like that, where I feel like you felt like, okay, I could see this guy being successful in Sean McDermott's system. So it's getting to know a new defensive coordinator and what he likes and what he wants and the players that are going to fit and be exceptional then in his scheme.
So I look at it as an opportunity to really switch up the identity of the defense, not just scheme-wise, personnel-wise.
That is very true.
I think when you look at the mainstays, Jordan Poyer, Trey White, Matt Milano, Taron Johnson, maybe even Ed Oliver. Like, it depends. Like, you talk about Deion Walker. Deion Walker showed quickness. He's not the big space eater. He's also a young, big guy who probably could bulk up a little bit, too. I think he could handle that physically. I mean, he's a big
dude.
kid.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, too, like, if there is a time to move on from those players, this really is the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not specifically saying Ed, because Ed is, coming off that injury and has been impactful. But I think a lot of those players, it's going to be fascinating to see if, for age reasons, salary, whatever the reasons are, this is a year we see a big revamp in the personnel of the defense.
So another reason I think I like Jim Leonard, and I'll get to where I see this defense, and as we're talking about some of the players, Jim Leonard was wanted. You want coaches and coordinators that are wanted. Even Joe Brady had 7 interviews. You don't want to be the Cleveland Browns or the Arizona Cardinals, where it feels like you're just taking anybody that wants the job. I was very nervous that Jim Leonard would go to either the Chargers with their defense on their up and coming, taking over for Jesse Minter. That could have been a really nice fit, or Baltimore. Like, the fact that Jim Leonard picked Buffalo means that, in my opinion, he sees some things on the roster that he goes, that can work. I can make that work. And not necessarily putting the square peg in the round hole, as if you're saying, well, will this guy fit this scheme? Does this guy fit this? Again, I think back to it as you look at it and go, can this guy do what I want him to do? Maybe he hasn't been asked to do it under Sean McDermott, but I think I can get him to do this. And maybe it's not just necessarily Deion Walker, hey, you're going to be a nose tackle some of the snaps. And other times, I'm going to line you up next to Ed Oliver because you guys had success in doing that. Again, if we're talking about 25% of the snaps, I can see them going out and getting some big, large man-eater in free agency on the cheap for those 1 out of 4 plays in that base defense. Otherwise, we're going to see a lot of 4-man fronts. Yeah. You're going to see a lot of 5-man fronts.
5-man fronts.
Like, so that's where I look at it more, as you talked about Terrell Bernard. Like, normally in a 3-4 defense, you have big linebackers that get downhill and tackle. Like, Von Miller was a 3-4 outside linebacker. Like, that's where you need dudes on the outside that can cause havoc. TJ Watt is a end on a 3-4. Like, those type of guys. Look at Seattle. You look at some of these other defenses. That's where they need to find. But I think what they have for a lot of these guys, you're going, well, can it work? I think it can. And I'm sure that Jim Leonard, my impression is he saw some of those things and said, I can work with that.
You're right, because he also had to choose Buffalo. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
And so, yeah, and he wants to choose the situation that's most advantageous for him. And him to believe, like, okay, we can get the pieces. I can see this here. I can see that here. I see what you're saying. Because you're right. He was a wanted guy. And that's,
I did it.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Well, no, I didn't know what you were going to say.
I said, Mike Tomlin, you want volunteers, not hostages. Like, you wanted a guy, like, you got a defensive coordinator that wanted to come here.
He wanted to come here too.
That
I
is
think
such a Tomlin.
I think
it's so good.
A big plus is he's also coming to a team with an offensive head coach who is
young,
calling the plays, but also, I'll be very curious. How much influence is Joe Brady going to have on his defense? Because it's funny, we all asked this in the beginning, like, okay, Joe, now you're in charge of everything, in charge of the defense. Ideally, especially if you're a play caller on offense, how much defense do you think Andy Reid is dealing with Steve Spagnuolo?
Very little.
How much do you think Nick Sirianni or anybody there is dealing with Fangio? They're letting them handle it, right? I think ideally that's what you want. And if you're a defensive coordinator and you're Jim Leonard, I'm not saying you have total autonomy, but it's a little different, being there. Now, it's funny because in Baltimore, it's defensive head coach now.
Yep.
And you wonder in terms of like how much autonomy you would have doing that.
It's a great
It's
point.
also Harbaugh, and who knows what you get with Jim Harbaugh, right?
Harbaugh and McDaniel is
my
going
God,
to
that
be
is so awesome.
so good.
Those
Some
two
of the
together.
tweets that the Chargers have put out are awesome.
They
Yeah.
are Hall of Fame social media.
Yeah, they're
fantastic,
really
yeah.
good. But that is an excellent point, Mike.
Well, I would think that Jim Leonard at this point, who has had, I'm sure, autonomy when he was in college,
Wisconsin.
running that defense, I think he thought he was going to get the head coaching job.
He was
there.
the interim.
Yeah.
He was 7 games as the interim.
Right. So we get it full time. And now, he gets back in the NFL and now he gets his opportunity. So I remember him as a player. I told you guys very quickly the story of we're in Wisconsin for the scrimmage with Green Bay, and the fans loved Jim Leonard. They were like, Jim Leonard, where's Jim Leonard? I'm like, oh, you mean that little guy, the safety that's a rookie? They could not wait to see Jim Leonard, which was kind of cool. Played tough, played hard, ended up putting up some numbers. I think he had 4 interceptions that year. So he was a good player. And then, left and then ended up coming back to the Bills. So he's drawn to Buffalo for some reason.
Do you feel like, and maybe you might look at this differently, but I'm not as concerned about him not being a defensive coordinator in the NFL yet, just because I feel like he has had so much experience in college. What do you think? Is that like, I shouldn't say.
No, I know what you said. I like the fact that he's called plays and called them for numerous years.
Yes.
And obviously there
adapted,
are adjustments
evolved
to the NFL game. And the NFL game is but it is funny. The games have there's a lot more of what they ran in college used to be like, oh, that's more of a college thing. And now teams are running at the same time. I do like the fact that he has lined up. He has done game plans. He has called the plays throughout his time for the most part in Wisconsin. I think that is a plus. It's just an adjustment in the NFL to take over.
But I'm saying I think it's a good risk to take because you see the upside and hopefully that, collegiate experience translates.
But it's also, I think a lot of people see the experience of what Denver's defense has been the last few years when they have been. Do you know what helps?
Nick Bonito,
Patrick Surtain, Derek Wolfe, like all of these guys that really help them be the number 1 team in sacks. So like to think that like, oh, we're just taking a guy, that guy now will bring all of that here. He's got dudes. They've drafted well. Like they have gone in free agency and gotten pieces in Dre Greenlaw and pieces that have fit that scheme to be successful. That's what the Bills will have to do now.
So you're saying they did a good job of bringing in players in Denver?
Yeah, and it didn't matter about the salary cap because they paid Russell Wilson the most money out of anybody.
To go away.
To go away.
So it's
Leave,
funny.
dude.
It's funny how they were still able to get players that were successful under the salary cap.
Wild.
That isn't real. It went up again. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Really?
It went up an unexpected amount, right?
Breaking news. Salary cap went up. We'll report it here at Buffalo Plus. 2027 salary cap.
It's gone up.
Also has gone up. It's breaking news.
Oh, what about 28?
This just did.
Wait. It's also gone up.
Okay. All right.
2029?
But let's be honest. They're playing games in Paris, Australia.
There are so many
There's
international,
so many international
games. Do you think the Bills have one?
I don't
actually want one.
We got all
either.
those home games in the brand new stadium. We got great road schedule for travel. Green
be
Bay,
Australia.
Vegas.
You think?
I don't think they're going to send an Eastern team to Australia first time. Send somebody out west. It's a miserable trip anyhow. Let it be one of those Western teams that goes out there. I heard they're going to play that game before the opening game.
Yeah.
Like
which kind of makes sense.
Tuesday or Wednesday of that week. And then let the team come back and have
like what they did with. Well, no, Brazil was Friday.
Brazil was Friday.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
All right. Let's talk Pete Carmichael, Bill's new offensive coordinator. Dan, he was with the Saints for a long time, worked with Sean Payton. Obviously, Joe Brady first got his career with the Saints. A veteran guy. And I do think with Joe Brady being a first-time head coach, you got Pete Carmichael, who is a leader who's been in that room. He's been an OC for a long time, and that matters.
Yeah, he's an adult. Like,
I mean, Joe Brady's an adult.
Yeah, but 2.5 decades of experience in the league, I think helps. And that was kind of what I was getting at when I said Coach O. Like, I kind of wanted, no,
he's not an adult.
You could compare him to Coach O.
Why are you so mad?
No, because I think I was right that
No.
you got a veteran, somebody that
No.
had been around the block, that had been around this.
No for O. No, you're not doing that.
You can't claim that.
Pete Carmichael, here's what Joe Brady wants to do. He knows Pete Carmichael knows just what he wants to do. Joe Brady is running that whole team.
Mhm.
When he needs to do something, he needs to know that message is staying clear.
That he's an adult in the room.
You want Coach O?
I wanted a guy.
Ray Baker.
Like, I think it's funny because Joe Brady's first job in the NFL was working under Pete Carmichael, and now Pete Carmichael is going to work under Joe Brady here in Buffalo. I wanted somebody that has gone through stretches where the offense has struggled, and that he can be the calm, level-headed adult in the room of, hey, things aren't as bad as we think they are. We can get this right. Or when things are going really well, hey, we got to make sure that we're staying on top of these things. He's been doing it for 15 years as an offensive coordinator under Sean Payton. He's worked with Drew Brees. He's won a Super Bowl, been a part of that coaching staff. All of those things I thought checked the boxes of having a veteran.
1,000%. I'm in total agreement with that. I'm just wondering how you got to Coach O.
Because I said at the last podcast that we all did together, I was like, I think he needs to bring in some veteran, like how Sean brought in Leslie Frazier.
Yeah.
Can you imagine comparing Coach O to Leslie Frazier?
In time.
But hear me out. I think Coach O, I get what you're saying because the experience, but Coach O brings the circus that is Coach O. You want a Pete Carmichael, a dude that's most football fans can't pull him out of a lineup.
Yes.
Agreed. I don't disagree. I said I used Coach O as a name.
What are we doing?
I used Coach O as a name of just somebody that had been around.
So that would be like saying Leslie Frazier is a guy who's been around. So I'm the defensive coach, and I got Leslie Frazier with me like Sean did. Or it could be Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
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 Oh, my God.
But you can see they're very different.
Hey, Leslie Frazier in the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's
Good for
right.
He's an assistant defensive coordinator with the Seahawks.
Good for
Love
him.
that. Another reason to
root for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me know if anybody has a reason to root for the Patriots.
Yeah.
So you like
Pete Carmichael? It was funny. It was like when the news happened, it was like, all right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Again, he's not going to call plays. He's going to be the right-hand man of Joe Brady. He's just going to make sure that all
OCs do for
offensive
play calling.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's going to make
Head
sure all
coaches.
the I's and T's are dotted and crossed.
Like I love the swing of Jim Leonard. I love the consistency and stability that Pete Carmichael has. And I honestly think that was very smart of Joe Brady to be like, hey, look, I am newer at this. I've called plays before, obviously, but being a head coach, I want someone that I don't have to. I know we're on the same page. I know we're going to be in lockstep.
And
And if the waves start going, I know someone that can steady the ship.
And there's
That's
no
exactly what
way
I
he
said.
can be a head.
I just said it more succinctly.
Very well.
Spell it.
Yes. And if they had hired
Oh,
Coach
hold on,
O,
hold on.
SYN
Just
CH.
Why?
Succinct SYN.
Oh, no.
CH.
I'm surprised Dan wasn't like CSINK.
It's
S.
you.
You.
Yes. You.
Okay, wait.
What?
Real quick, really funny. Not funny. My dad's feeling better now, but he has to get
Succinct?
surgery.
He's still spelling.
He spelled. My dad was in a lot of pain, and he wrote excruciating. He wrote it like Dan. EXSCR.
Shout out Ben. He gets it.
W. I was like, ooh, excruciating. But he's feeling better now.
That's not it.
No, it's
That's
like
how I
that's
would've
like
spelled-
syncing up like your iPhone with your
Oh my
iCloud.
God.
Like
That's
your,
where I was going with it.
succinct is a completely different word. Succinct
It's-
means like concise.
Can you imagine though if Joe?
We're gonna do wordly
if
wise
Joe
with Dan.
stood up at his news conference and goes, "I brought in my OC. Let's bring out Coach O."
I
feel
said
like
as
they'd have to have,
I
like,
said as an
music.
offensive line or defensive line guy. I just thought
No, he's too big. He's too big to
Too
bring
big
in.
a personality. Too
I-
much Coach O.
You don't want that.
No.
if you guys are harping on the Coach O, it was a figure of what I wanted as
No,
the bigger
no,
picture.
you
No,
said
no,
you
you said-
went
Nope.
specific with Coach O.
Nope, we'll go back. We'll go look at the film.
Okay, we're gonna look at the film.
All right.
Any thoughts on Jeff Rogers,
None.
the
None.
new
I
Bills special
Googled
teams
it instantly.
coordinator?
They weren't great last year. I'll say that.
So he's coming from the Arizona Cardinals, which
Hey, you get a
it's
you get a
it's-
discount if you were involved with the Cardinals. It's just a mess. They're a mess.
Yeah.
So you got to say, okay, it's the Cardinals. So move on
Okay.
to a new organization.
Jeff Rogers is a very offensive coordinator name.
Jeff Rogers.
Like the Bubba Ventura guy that
Yeah.
is the guy. I was like, if your name is Bubba, you better be an offensive or you better be a special teams guy.
Oh, you could be an offensive line coach, couldn't you?
It's not as good as like a Jim Bob Cooter or
Jim Bob Cooter is not an offensive line coach.
No, I agree.
Well, he could be. He's not an offensive coordinator.
he was.
Yeah, he shouldn't be. Just the name alone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I thought about? Random thought that went through my head was the fact
I wonder what this could be.
the fact that there was a guy named Chazinski.
Yeah.
That was the head coach in Cleveland.
Cleveland, yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Chazinski.
Chuds. Like that's just a
Oh,
wild.
got to be Chuds.
Like that's like being like, this is our new head coach. Chuds. Like it's just a wild, like it's so
I'm
Cleveland.
surprised you wouldn't name him Zinn.
That could have done Zinn. That would have been better. He was ahead of his time.
Jenna's got a beggar.
It was ahead of his time.
We just did a spit take. All right.
All right.
Let's talk a little bit. Well, do we want to go into the Keon stuff?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, Dan, what are your thoughts?
Not much.
Wow. quite
You
a lead
interrupted me and
Well,
then
I think
they
the
said the right thing. I just interrupted you.
yeah.
But I think
there. I'm just waiting for Dan to.
No, so here's the thing. Mike makes a really good point about, or we've made the point.
Yeah.
That
you walked it back so fast.
yeah. That I think the problem with the Bills is where they are and have gotten in this wide receiver room, that they need cheap wide receivers. And Keon is cheap right now.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Well, okay. He is a second-round draft pick. He's in the third year of his contract. It is an inexpensive player to have on your roster. I do not mind them, and I think you're right about that because they wasted money with the other guys. Let's be honest. They
And that's
did.
that's why I
And
go
we're
back
talking
to
right because
when Jeremy White had his spat with Bean and then he came on here and he explained it as like drafting wide receivers is good business because it is cheap labor at a very expensive position. And we have seen that between Elijah Moore, Curtis Samuel, Josh Palmer. The cost to the production that you get out of these guys is not worth the juice that you're squeezing out of it. So take a guy, draft a guy before the 7th round, and you may get the same production that you got at Josh Palmer for $15 million less that you could then use to find an edge rusher that is an elite edge rusher or trade for somebody, Max Crosby, that you could be an elite edge rusher. So like, I'm ready to get my heart broken again by saying the Bills need to swing several times in the draft to get cheap labor at this position because it's really Shakir and
should be wide open.
Like
should be filling that roster. And I don't know. And even the couple of guys that were at the end of the roster, like Gabe and Shavers, are coming off serious injuries.
Yeah.
So in that case, but Jenna, Coleman himself, it is fascinating. Let's forget what Terry Pagula said. I mean, I think the whole organization realizes that did not go the way it should have ever gone. And then Joe Brady stepped up and said, I stood on the table for this guy. You can't say more than that. I look at it this way and say, wait a minute. Year 1, you told me you were disappointed. Year 2, he was worse.
Unbelievable.
On and off the field. And now you have your new head coach saying, I stood up on the table. Josh Allen saying, I have faith in zero.
I still believe in zero.
That is so funny. It's just funny when you hear that.
Yeah.
Zero.
I think they're saying the right things. But what they do will show you what their level of belief is in him.
More than what they say. Yes. And at this point, there's no reason to not say we have faith in him because if for some reason he comes back as a different player,
or even trade market value.
And
like if you're trying to trade him, you can't be like, yeah, he's ass.
But you cannot start next season and say he's our outside wide receiver. You cannot do that.
And you can check the receipts too of the training camp because he'll look good in training camp. And there will be, this is his breakout year, all these things like that. The problem with Keon is never what he can do not in pads. He looks the part. It is the off the field stuff that's an issue, clearly. And it's when he gets shut down by a more physical 5'9" Marcus Jones. Like, that's the problem when you look at the play on the field, where he doesn't play to his size and things like that. So the problem you're saying is that it doesn't make any sense. And that's where I said the Bills are kind of the spot that they're in. If they had 4 wide receivers and 2 of them were on rookie deals, you could probably cut and move on from Keon. But they're not in that spot. So
I do think
their hands are kind of tied behind their back to say, well, we have to give him a 3rd and 4th chance.
Well, and the issue too, John, is you will have to go out and try to find a guy to be above him. Whether that's in the draft
For sure.
I don't want it. I mean, the only way you want it to be a free agent, if you're going to swing for a free agent, it's for a big time free agent.
Yeah.
And, I'll give this as an example. Mike Evans gets released and you say, we take a shot at Mike Evans. You would need a player. I mean, it'd be nice to see Justin Jefferson come in, right?
Yeah.
In a perfect world where you did, but if not, your best problem should be, we got this guy playing on the outside, a rookie, somebody, whatever they got the guy from. And Keon's look good. And Keon can give us some snaps. Fantastic. You cannot go into the year going, we are trusting Keon to be that guy. Now, in fairness, with all they said about having faith in him, no one's saying he's a starting player on the team.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
So they're just saying they have faith for him to your point, not get cut or traded. At the moment,
I don't even think they're saying that he can't get cut or traded.
Right.
I'm just saying
he's getting a chance to.
Yeah, there's no
they're
point.
saying the right things.
Correct.
But
There's no
follow
value.
what they do, and that will show you how
My
they
worry
feel.
is they said the same kind of stuff about Kyer, different player, never caused any issues off the field, and they just kept saying it, and they kept him on the roster until he cost them.
But Kyer never had the benchings because of
Right.
off
Correct.
the field
That's where
stuff.
they're different.
And that is where they're different. And I
Yeah.
think that could be the reason why, if the Bills were to move on now, it's because Kyer, you wanted to believe in him because he said that he was a good kid who was trying. Could he play well on the field? No, and we've seen that. But I think you keep giving a guy like that a little bit more leeway and runway because you're like, the dude's trying. He's doing everything. Whereas you could look at Keon's situation and say, he's not getting a jersey on game day because he's doing XYZ off the field.
So I'm going to ask you guys this because Keon's a guy that's pretty easy to be critical of, and he's done it to himself. I'm going to give the Bills this. The potential is they tried to be outwardly critical of him, and it didn't work. Is it possible they're just saying maybe he will respond more to positive reinforcement and come back? It's worth a shot. People do respond differently. There are people that respond, you can yell at them and they come back stronger. Other guys go the other way. I'm just thinking he is an asset on the team. The question is,
how much?
How much one? And maybe it is worth it to take a different approach with the guy and say, we have faith in you. Let's see what you can do.
To me, it's more like, I feel like you're almost saving face. Like you're like dogging a player that's on your team, on your roster right now.
Well,
Like
the owner.
So the problem is too with Mike, to your point.
I'm just throwing it out
No,
there.
No,
Yeah.
I get it. And you're right. People do respond in different ways.
But again, this is where this is the one section of the dialogue of the Keon conversation that I don't really think is valid, is like, he's a kid. And it's one thing if it's your rookie year. The second year was very telling. And to me, you know more about this guy. Like that's
who he is.
Like this, that's where I go to. Because Mike, you make the point about like, hey, the carrot or the stick. Like how do you get the guy to be motivated and what gets the best out of him? Like they talk about that MLB pitchers, they have the sports psychologists and stuff like that pitching coaches, if you ever watch a baseball game, when they go out to do mound visits, some coaches, the pitching coaches, will know whether to look down at them, like down at their feet, and have like a, hey man, how's it going? Like, you're all right, settle in. And then there's other guys, pitchers, that the coach can go out there and stare at his face and go, wake up.
Yeah.
Like, you got to bear down. They go through that level of training through spring training and all of those kind of things where they know what makes a guy tick and what makes a guy doesn't. That'd be fine if this was his rookie year. That's where it's like, he's a kid, he's figuring it out. I don't buy that he's a kid anymore.
Also, did not hear them say he's a kid and he's figuring it out this time. They just went straight to the we have faith in him.
Yeah.
So they're also putting it out there saying, hey, Josh is saying, hey, I stood up for you. And if he doesn't come through.
I keep going back to what Dion said.
Yeah, but
I think
Dion.
But I think what Dion and the other guys were saying in the summer, I think that was like, hey, dude, you got this. We believe in you. Like,
Yeah.
I think that was the positive reinforcement. And I feel like now it's a little bit like, I still have faith in you because that's what you should say.
I was thinking of the kid who fumbled the punt for the Rams.
Yeah.
Where he goes to the sidelines, they give up the touchdown. And on the sidelines, everybody's like, you got it, man. You got it. And then when they walked over to the other side, they're like, that dude screwed us. Like, we're in trouble. And then they don't send him back out for the next punt. Like, what you do, not what you say.
Hey, it's like all those Patriots players. We believe in Jarrett Stidham so much. All the reports that come out.
Hey,
Stidham
Jarrett Stidham won a big game for the Patriots.
Oh.
He was playing for the Broncos.
Yes,
That was good, Michael.
That was my favorite offseason.
Do you think Keon is traded this offseason? Do you think Keon is on the roster when we start training camp in July?
Yes. Because I don't know if they make enough moves in the wide receiver room.
It will be fascinating
That's
because
fair.
if he's not one of the top 3 guys, where's he playing? He's not a special teams guy, though he should be able to be. He's a great athlete. Like, I don't know if he's ever
But
been.
that's effort.
Well, it is. I mean,
That special teams is effort.
it really is.
It's also a little bit of trust too.
Yeah.
And like some of those guys,
Like, think about Shavers. Like, you trust that guy.
Do you want to have that guy transition to being that Mac Hollins type at the end of your wide receiver room?
And it's up
or
to
do you
Keon
just-
saying, I don't know hey, I'm in my 3rd year and this team's already designated me as the special teamer guy. I'm out.
Yeah. We'll see.
so
I would say
yes,
based on the history and to the way the roster is and everything else they need to do, I say he's on the roster.
I say yes. If they make enough adjustments, which is what I hope they do, I think Keon becomes an asset to move.
Bulk him up, tight end.
he's going both ways. I just want
Offense and defense?
No. Dan's saying
Oh,
yes
yeah.
and no.
What I want is no. I hope that he becomes
know it.
expendable
Then
so that
Dan
they
will
can move on
find
from
that
him.
clip, and he'll say,
Locked
I know I
and
had it
loaded.
somewhere. I said it in that podcast
Yeah.
we did.
Trolls. Just work with trolls.
I think that Keon, I'm going to say Keon's not on the roster.
Look at you.
So you have enough faith that they improve the wide receiver room so that Keon becomes expendable.
I just think it's going to get to an untenable point,
Okay.
and maybe you cut your losses.
All right.
Okay. I wonder how Keon feels or like reacted.
Keon, if you're watching, comment.
Well, we'll find out when he goes on his podcast tour this offseason.
Nah, it's going to be quiet this offseason.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty. If I were Keon, I'd be like, I don't want to talk
I'm
in
not
front of a
talking to
mic
anybody.
right now. Going forward, what do you expect? So it's February now. The NFL Combine is coming up. Obviously, the draft will be in April, but the Combine ahead. So much scouting, so much looking at prospective players. You guys will be there. Brandon Beane will be there. Joe Brady will be there. The hobnobs of the NFL will be there. That's the right way to use it, right?
Not really, but
Hobnobs? No, hobnobbing.
Hobnobbing is
Okay,
yeah.
the hobnobs. Yeah, that's
The
a really
hobnobs.
wrong way to use it. Dan's gonna make fun of me. How aggressive do you think Beane has to be this offseason?
I don't know about being aggressive. It is kind of interesting when you look at the roster situation they have. Major decisions to be made on the offensive line, right?
Yep.
That is 2 starters, guys who've been out there.
3, if you consider what they have to do with Torrance.
In terms of a future deal for him, yes. But I'm talking about being on the roster or not being on the roster.
Yeah.
So you're talking about center and guard.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing there? Multiple positions on the defensive side. Understanding where you are with the new defensive coordinator and where you're going. They have a lot of moves to make this offseason.
They do.
A lot. And I think the roster is going to have certainly on defense, it is a substantial overhaul of personnel.
Trade for a defensive end, draft wide receivers. I think you can go in free agency, to Jenna's point, and get some of your guys that you want to would excel more and guys that fit your system and scheme more. And then I think you draft offensively. We still don't know what like Max Harrison is. Like the big question too I was thinking about is, does Trey White come back? and we will have time to talk about staying or going. We will have those videos that'll come up as the offseason goes on leading into free agency. But like Trey White has, I think, in my opinion, earned an opportunity to be a starter somewhere in the NFL this year with how he played, has shown the proofs in the pudding that he's recovered from those injuries and how he's played. Do the Bills want him back? You need 3 corners. I mean, you need 4 corners at times. But does Trey say, I want to stay in Buffalo to be competing for a number 2 job? Or could I get better money elsewhere and be a starter number 2 corner somewhere else? That's an interesting of where they think about Max, because we really still don't know what Max is.
I would say with the roster they have and what they have invested in Max, the assumption is Max is a starter this year with Benford on the other side, and they let Trey walk. That's just...
I hear you, and I could definitely see that. I would want Trey to be around because I think like Dan said, I think Trey's got it. I think he had to work his way back, and it took a while, but the way he was playing at the end of the season, like that dude can start in this league.
Oh yeah, he can.
I also understand if he doesn't want to be in Buffalo because he wants to be a starter. But
a lot of it depends on their faith and what they want in that position.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to
need 3-4 corners.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
In many cases, those other guys are also special teams guys who contribute in other ways. That's not Trey.
That's correct.
So
there's that. Okay, you want to do Hey Buffalo Plus?
Let's go.
All right, our new segment, Hey Buffalo Plus. You send in your questions and we give our answers and our takes.
Really life advice.
Yes. Okay, so this is from, should I say the names?
They gave us their names.
This is from Ben.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids and my oldest turned 16 last summer. She's showing no interest in learning how to drive. And when I encourage her to study for her written test, she says that either she isn't ready or isn't interested. I'm tired of doing all the driving and ferrying these kids all around Monroe County. How do I inspire her to take this next step in growing up?
Michael?
Well, let's start with Jenna. Jenna, how were you as a 16-year-old young lady driving?
This might be shocking to you as a passenger princess, but I did not want to learn how to drive. Now, in my defense, I'd been in a car accident with my friend was driving, got into a car accident. And so I was just really scared. Like, I was like, oh my gosh.
God, I
had
to make fun of you. You ruined it.
Seriously.
I thought you knew that.
Come on.
I know, but I
yeah, I was okay.
Talk cancer.
Oh my God.
Dang it.
No, but like, I really was
this
very
is a lighthearted segment.
I
Jenna.
was, what? You asked
Pizza
me.
Hut.
I thought, Picasso's. No, I was very afraid of driving, but my parents essentially said, like, I'm not carting your ass around anymore, which I totally understand.
Not messing around.
Now as an adult, I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So, I don't know. Is it the carrot or the stick, Dan?
I don't know.
So let me ask you this. Did you see, I started driving a car at different times when I was about, 13. Go ahead. Here comes the joke of age. Here's the age joke. Go ahead.
Couldn't even get it out. It was lax in the 50s.
So my dad would drive.
They didn't have seatbelts either.
My dad would drive. We would be out, and I grew up in the sticks of Jersey. We would be out somewhere, and he would say, do you want to drive? Like me or my brothers. Usually, maybe I'll say 14, 15. He would be on the passenger seat, and we would drive. He would be talking to it, like letting us drive the car out there and drive. We always drove cars all around. We had the dairy. We had, we didn't have a farm. We had a dairy. We had a plant, and we could drive around, go put gas in the car, all that stuff. I couldn't wait to drive a car. My daughters, when I'm the dad, my oldest daughter passed her test like that. She was a horrendous driver. We made the decision. I don't care what the state of New York says. You're not driving until you learn more about driving. Terrible
really
driver.
funny.
Wow.
Courtney, very disciplined, always ready to learn how to drive, very structured, followed all directions, failed the driving test 5 times.
5.
And then
Putting her on
finally
blast.
passed. And the quick story I can tell about that is when she went to do it, she took the test once early, failed. She later, 2 times later, took it again in another place, and the guy failed her. She came back crying to me, And I went and talked to the guy who gave her the test. And I said, the problem was the first time she took this test, the guy was such a jerk to her
Oh,
that
honey.
she lost all of her confidence.
Oh.
And then I went and told Courtney what I said to the guy. And she says, Dad, it was the same guy.
Oh my gosh.
So to the
Wild.
point, yes. By the way, she has her license now. By the way, the point is to the parent Ben about driving. It's a frightening thing to have your kid driving a car, but you need them to be able to drive.
I would be curious in asking her why she doesn't want to drive. Is it because she likes being driven around? Is it because she's afraid? Is it because she doesn't feel confident yet? And I think once you know like the root of what's going on, then you can be like, okay, maybe your confidence isn't there yet, but let's take some back roads. Let's start in a parking lot. Let's go from there. Or if it's like, I like being carted around, you can be like, well, kid, you gotta grow up. But I do think sometimes like knowing the why behind it, you can better attack how to get forward.
Yeah, I have no idea how I will approach this.
You're going to be like, you're going to have your own driving school teaching 3 girls in a span of 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Each one of them to
Yeah.
drive.
Yeah, it's not great. I don't
That's wild.
like. I was scared when Shane got on the bus this year.
Yeah.
It was like,
I'll teach
Can she-
Taylor how to drive.
no, you're not. That's the last thing we're doing.
She'll do it so that
Renee's not going to
Taylor
teach.
can drive her around.
Renee's not going to teach the girls how to drive either. So this is going to be. I think Jenna's right. Like you kind of are wanting to, much like Keon Coleman. You got to find out like, are you nervous? And then also there's got to be the nudging of like, hey, I'm
You
not
just
driving.
compared Ben's daughter to Keon Coleman.
That is
It was topical.
Yes.
This is between the carrot and the stick.
I will also say, you're talking about 16 years old, where they're going to have their permit. They go through a lot before you are absolving yourself of having to drive them everywhere. It does take a little while
Yeah.
to get them to
Yes,
the point where
yes.
you are getting any relief at all about how much you need to drive. But I know what he's also thinking, because when the oldest can drive,
Yeah.
then they drive around the other kids.
yeah. My brother and sister drove me around a
Yeah.
lot.
I'm like a taxi with the 3 kids between dance and daycare. So I feel for Ben in the sense of I just need somebody else to
Yeah,
to
I
do the
can't.
driving.
Yeah, I can't imagine
Driving school was
This-
not a terrible thing,
I was
though,
say,
because
do they
it's
still have
somebody
driver's
else
ed?
teaching your kid. It's not driver's ed. It was like you pay for it.
Yeah.
Oh.
No free ads, but it was Morgan School of Driving.
Oh.
And the people were nice, and they, you get in the car, and the guy even said about one of my daughters, like, she's a little anxious. And I was like, that's not great, because they want to see you have confidence before
Yeah.
they pass you.
Yes.
I give the people credit given the test. Like, they weren't going to just sign off and go ahead and drive. Like,
Clearly not.
not 5 times. Courtney, seriously.
That is so funny.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we want to move on.
Yeah.
So we came to the conclusion, it'll take a little while. They got to be comfortable, or otherwise you're not going to be comfortable having them drive.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you will feel it.
Yes, but I would ask where this
Why?
is the
Yeah.
why, the
Yeah.
why behind. Okay. This is from Tian. She said, "Hi Buffalo Plus. My 92-year-old grandma bought me a jacket that is outlined in purple and has flowers all over it. With the exception of it being purple, it is not my taste whatsoever. She asked me if I could fit it several times. I tried it on and it is definitely no. I'm debating on telling her so she can gift it to someone else. I do appreciate the gift and her thinking of me, but it will go to waste in my closet. Should I just tell her and give it to someone else? Should I give it to one of the unhoused shelters? My aunt said my daughter bought her a big gift that she will not use. What should people do in these situations? Note, I'm pretty sure my grandma bought the shirt for herself and couldn't fit it, so she gifted it to me." Which Tian sent the jacket,
yeah.
and it's
A lot.
Okay.
a lot. Yeah.
Wear it once and then throw it away.
Not throw it away.
Donate it.
I was just say.
Donate it, move on.
No.
You wear it once. You wear it once for the grandma.
You wear it. You even
show up.
have somebody take a picture of you, send it to your grandma. Oh, I'm wearing the jacket.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't believe
Play
you're
the
probably
game.
not hanging out with your grandma.
Play the game.
Or
Wear
maybe
it
you
over
are.
to her house one
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then put it in the closet. Don't look at it. Eventually you could give it
Don't
away.
You can donate it.
But
Yes.
like unless you have no room at all, but get the credit for it
Yes.
by
Yes.
wearing it,
Yes.
showing
Thought
her.
that counts. Shout out to your
Yes.
grandma
Yes.
for thinking of you.
Very sweet.
Wear it once, play the game. You're right. Send the picture, take the picture, and then show it to her the next time you were there.
No, you
Then-
wear it there.
You wear it to her house.
Yeah,
Okay.
you wear it to
Yeah.
her house. Like if you can see her, you wear it to the house. Thank you so much, Grammy. I love this. I love the color.
Right.
This is so thank you so much. Great. And then you put it in the back of the closet and then
Can you picture her grandmother talking to her friends going, I got her to wear this jacket. Now that would be funny.
that would be funny.
But she probably thinks it's cute or nice,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's a thought that
But you
counts.
got to play the game.
Yeah, you got it, especially with grandmas.
You don't need to give it away right away.
Yeah.
There is no particular reason that it has to be gone. Like you need
So
that baby's got to last in the closet for like 24 months.
so there are some things that we've gotten for the kids over the years, like girls' clothes, baby clothes, and Renee has her style. And I'm trying to think of who watches this, but there are some times when you're like, thank God there's the receipt in this box, because you're like, we will return this and get diapers, or we will return this and
Yes.
a lot of times when kids come in for you, like you want your style, and somebody will be
Yeah.
like, oh, I would love to get this for so and so's kids, but that parent may be like, that is
Don't want
not what
that.
I would ever
Yeah.
put my kid in. There are some times when you put them in it once, you take the picture, you send it to the person that gave you the clothes, and then it goes right to Once Upon a Child.
Yeah. Which I totally get.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Or
Unless you're like super close and you'd be like, yeah. But like they would probably know.
Yeah.
You
it
know.
never bothers me to somebody if I gave them something for clothes and it didn't. Never bothers me if they take it. It's basically a more thoughtful gift card.
Yes. I
Yes.
agree. Like when people are like, I'm sorry, I'm like, no, I want you to have
Once
something.
there's something you like.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
you don't like the color. Maybe
Now,
they have something like it.
I do think with grandmas it's different because it's like they're old. You don't
Hey,
want
I'm a grandpa. I'm not that old.
No. Well, she said he was 90. She was
Yeah, yes.
92. You're not that old either.
I buy stuff for the kids, and if actually Jenny picks everything out.
I was
and
say,
the
I was
kid,
like,
they
well,
love
I
it.
buy stuff for
Yeah.
you might buy it, but
I
you don't
buy
pick it out.
I'm not
Yeah.
picking it out. But yes, I think you got to play the game a little.
Play
bit.
the game.
Yes.
and just unless grandma's watching the channel here.
hey.
we're
Hey,
in
my
trouble.
mom's watching, so
Yeah, you never know.
we got a good demo there.
All right, this next one's a little different, but it's hello. This is from Mark. My wife, Grazia,
wife.
My wife.
wants to know a good dish to cook
Oh.
for game day, not buffalo chicken related.
Oh, I'm out.
Maybe something to cook during the Super Bowl. Do you like nachos?
I am a massive cheese crackers pepperoni plate. Like that.
You like
Wow, do you
you
have
like
a recipe
you
for
say
that?
you,
No,
you
no.
like Lunchables?
like
I'm kidding.
like that is we joke around about like when we go to Chili's and we chip ourselves to death. Like
Yes,
I
eat all
will
the chips.
overeat the chips or the pepperoni crackers and cheese plate and then be full for whatever holiday that we are at.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's customary in America.
But
Yeah.
buffalo
You over-
chicken wing dip is
No, but she
with the
doesn't.
baguette. I know.
They don't want buffalo chicken related. I feel like I like a jalapeno popper, something like that is
Not bad.
good. Like making your own Italian sandwiches, like little like slider Italian sandwiches is really good. Some people do chili, which is great. I'm not a huge chili fan.
No, but I also like things that are
White
in,
chicken chili is so good.
in small
Yes.
segments.
I want to get a sampler. I want to make my own
Yes.
Applebee's sampler.
Yes.
Pig in a blanket.
A pib. You
Not a big-
know
I
I love a pib.
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I do, which I don't like.
Mustard.
Yeah. I'm
Mustard
not.
dipping
Oh,
sauce.
yeah.
I don't like hot.
Mustard's good on anything.
So
I love
good.
mustard.
Dan loves mustard.
I'm
love
mustard on
mustard.
French fries.
Oh,
I'm
I
trying to
love it.
think.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
other stuff?
Mustard.
I don't like potato skins.
No,
Seems like a lot of work.
they look good. Like
They
you
look
and you go,
And then it's a
Amazing.
soggy French fry.
But no, it's not even that.
It's,
It's just
too
like
much potato
if
in it.
yes.
And it's not the good kind of
and they're
potato.
always dry.
Yes.
Like always.
Yeah.
What's it, like a Mexican dip? Like the
Yeah.
triple bean dip?
The 3-layer dip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That's tasty. Could always do wings. That's a little bit more intensive.
Can we say no wings?
You said no chicken
buffalo
wing dip.
chicken dip.
Oh,
Or like
just the
buffalo
dip.
chicken, I guess, yeah. But you don't have to make wings
Yeah.
buffalo. Yeah. Like a nice spread.
Yeah. But I like the idea of the sandwiches cut up
Yeah.
small pieces and then you can, you
Yeah.
know, bounce around there.
What is your favorite like Super Bowl food? Like if you're other than cheese and crackers.
I can chip
I'm
myself
a
to death.
chip. Me too.
I can chip myself
I'm
to
also,
death.
by the way, I have a confession to make about Chili's. I love Chili's. I love the chips and salsa, the Diet Coke, and the beers. I don't love the menu that much.
It's overwhelming.
The chips and salsa brings me in.
Yeah.
I could just sit there and eat the chips and salsa.
Burgers aren't bad. Didn't you go
Burger. I went burger last time.
Yeah.
I was much happier with.
Do you
burger.
remember when we were ordering and Mike said he'll have a cheeseburger and we were like, oh, okay, whatever.
Okay.
And then the waiter came over to bring us our food and they're like, the old timer. And we were all like, oh my, that's why you didn't want
order
to.
it as the old time. Hey, I order old fashions when we're at the bar.
Old fashioned and old timer are different.
That is very funny.
That is very funny. Ooh, spinach artichoke dip.
I like that. That's another good. I'm big on
Delicious.
dips. I'm a snacker.
Little quesadilla. Can't go wrong.
Again, small
Yeah.
bites, pieces like that.
Soft
Always
pretzel.
Oh,
Not bad.
I could mess up some pretzels.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do love a pretzel.
I love a pretzel.
Yeah. Do you do soft pretzels too?
We used to do that as a kid. You
Yeah.
used to get them at Wegmans, like the frozen ones, and we put them in
Yeah.
the toaster.
Those were good.
You put them in the toaster oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, my parents had a toaster oven. I've never had a toaster oven since. Like at any
We
of my
had a
apartments.
toaster oven growing up
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. We
My
had
dad
toaster
uses it for everything.
oven. Really?
Yeah.
You know what?
But like you used to put a little bit of water on the pretzel and then you'd sprinkle
Yes.
that big salt
Sprinkle
on
salt
it.
on the top.
Oh.
That's like when you're doing cinnamon rolls.
We used
And
to
you
Oh.
use two icings
Oh, yeah.
on like one pan. You're like,
toaster strudel.
When I was
yeah.
a kid, there was do you know Sears store? Most of them are
Yeah,
closed now.
Sears. Yeah.
And at the end of the store, when we would leave, they had a pretzel. It was one of those ones where the rack comes down and it's cooking all the pretzels.
Oh,
yeah.
And I was a little fat kid, and I
You love
loved those pretzels.
I love when Mike says that.
And my mom would go, and then sometimes she would get us the pretzels.
Ooh.
I could have eaten like 8 of them.
Yeah.
That honestly
probably did.
sounds really
But those were
good.
great pretzels.
Okay.
I think that was good life advice.
I
to
would
start.
say, I agree.
Send your
Sa-
questions in.
heybuffaloplus@gmail.com. We also remind everyone, we also have the Buffalo Plus store. We got a couple emails about that. buffaloplusstore.com. That looks crazy. I need a haircut so bad. Anything else, gentlemen?
We will see like what goes on over the next period of time. You know, it is an interesting time for all these teams because things kind of go on hold a little bit. Combine will be a big look at the future in terms of draft picks. We're going to be looking at a lot of wide receivers and all the way there. But then bang, after that, free agency comes
Bang.
up fast.
Yes.
Yes.
It certainly does.
So that is really,
and then the draft.
and it's not just who they're getting, it's also who they're losing
Yeah.
and who they're letting go. So
That is
it'll
that
be
as
fun
well.
and plenty of content.
This is an off season we weren't expecting, but it's going to be a wild one.
When's Elmo's? Is that Thursday? Thursday. the 10th?
Elmo's is Wednesday.
Oh, good. Okay.
And yes,
Okay.
That's the
that-
25th.
yes.
So
Wednesday the
we're almost 3 weeks away from
That's
Elmo's.
it.
Love that.
And
for
I've
you.
already gotten a couple of messages of people from out there that are maybe going to swing by Elmo's while we're
That
while
would be
we're out
awesome.
there. So we'll be there. We'll be there Wednesday night.
Okay.
Tons of content.
All right.
Love the combine.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you so much for watching the Buffalo Plus podcast. For Mike Catalana and Dan Fates, I'm Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We'll catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus channel.
Now, from the Connors and Ferris Podcast Studio, this is the Buffalo Plus Podcast.